Hello and welcome everyone. This is Amhara Media Corporation, Amhara TV, and you're watching our daily news live from the studio. I am Gaila Damu. Stay tuned. The historic church of Chachuho Medanialam, located in South Gondar administration zone of Amhara region, has been destroyed by the terrorist TPLF. Fikradi Zaudu reports.
It was indicated that, purportedly known to have been established in the 3rd century, Chachuho Medanialam holds various invaluable historical and religious heritage. Margeta Abrara Malese, a cashier in the historic church, told Amhara Media Corporation that the church was demolished by the terrorist TPLF by heavy artillery. According to him, this destructive act demonstrated the fact that group is against the well-being of the country and the people. The group attacked the church by heavy weapons, destroying its ceiling and main block together with 15 windows and 5 doors.
Ethiopia Mission Director Steve Jones disclosed that the TPLF terrorist group has looted warehouses of the US aid. Fikradi Zaudu has the details.
The mission director told ETV that they believe TPLF is abusing the situation. He said, "We feel that the group is forcibly snatching aid from the victims. What we can say with certainty is that members of the group looted our aid warehouses in areas they infiltrated. This is the fact we know." USAID Ethiopia Mission Director Jones further elaborated, saying, "What we clearly know is TPLF soldiers looted warehouses in all areas of the Amhara region. They entered, stole vehicles, and caused lots of damage on the villages. This is a matter of great concern to the victims and to us." According to him, the USAID is operating in Ethiopia not just because the country is in crisis, but because the country is one of their best partners in the world and they are very concerned about their partnership with Ethiopia. He also said, "Some people think that the Ethio-US relationship has deteriorated due to the unconfirmed rumors spread on social media." The director noted, adding that there has, however, never been a time when we worked in cooperation with Ethiopia.
Foreign Affairs spokesperson said that the recent visit of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to Rwanda and Uganda was successful in terms of strengthening strategic partnership with the respective countries. Brown Work and tells us more.
The Premier discussed current regional and bilateral issues with the leaders of the two respective countries. In an exclusive interview with Ethiopia News Agency, Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Dina Mufti said, Prime Minister Abiy also discussed about ways of strengthening the long-standing relations with the nations and resolving challenges together. According to the spokesperson, Ethiopia Rwanda and Ethiopia Uganda are close allies, and the leaders have mutual understandings and agreements on common interests. Citing that the countries have been taking common stands at the international and continental level, including at the African Union, Dina stated that the recent visit of Prime Minister Abiy boosts the existing strong relations.
ኢትዮጵያና እነዚህ ሁለቱ ሀገሮች በጣም የሚቀራረቡ ሀገሮች ናቸው.
Ethiopia Rwanda and Ethiopia Uganda have good bilateral relations. There is also long-standing and an excellent bilateral relations with the leaders of those countries. Most of the time, those three countries have the same stance on continental affairs in the meeting of African Union. Therefore, it is possible to say that the visit of His Excellency Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed has made the bilateral relations of those countries enhanced.
ከፍተኛ ደረጃ ወስዶታል ብሎ መደምደም ይቻላል.
Regarding the recent stand of some countries in support of Ethiopia at the United Nations Security Council, the spokesperson said the countries have firmly stated that Ethiopia has the capacity to resolve its internal challenges. The spokesperson elaborated, they also stressed that meddling in Ethiopia's internal affairs will not be beneficial for the country to resolve the challenges it is facing right now. and the approach should be supporting the nation as per its needs. Dina further noted that some countries also raised at the meeting that the reason for the ongoing conflict in the country is the outlawed TPLF group, and the discussion more or less recognized Ethiopia's efforts on the issues. According to the spokesperson, Ethiopia's effort to provide humanitarian aid and accessibility was also recognized during the United Nations Security Council meeting. He stated, besides, the occasion created opportunities for some countries that had not clarity on the internal affairs of Ethiopia to reassess their position.
በአጠቃላይ ኢትዮጵያን ጥረት ከሞላ ጎደል እውቅና የመስጠት አይነት ውይይት ነው የነበረው.
Generally, more or less, the leaders of those two countries have given recognition for the effort of Ethiopian government in bringing peace and security across the nation. During their discussion, the leaders of the two countries have appreciated the unilateral humanitarian ceasefire declared by the government so as to bring peace and security in the country. They have also appreciated the effort of the Ethiopian government in making the humanitarian assistance accessible to the needy people because of the war. And they also requested the government of Ethiopia to continue its effort in their discussions. The discussion was a good platform for other countries to know the stance of Ethiopia and the reality on the ground. Therefore, the government of Ethiopia acknowledges the countries which support the stance of Ethiopia. On the other side, the government will motivate other countries to be on the side of Ethiopia. So, this will be the upcoming diplomacy work of Ethiopia. Dina finally praised the contributions of the Ethiopian diaspora for their tremendous works using various platforms, which showed that conventional diplomacy together with public diplomacy could play a crucial role. The spokesperson stressed that the diplomatic effort from the Ethiopian side will be continued to clear misinformation-based confusions by some countries in the West. The diaspora community living abroad has contributed in uploading the reality being carried out in Ethiopia in many ways. For instance, petition, peaceful demonstration, and Twitter campaign have brought remarkable result to applaud the stance of Ethiopia to the international community. Previously, the international community has wrong view on the stance of Ethiopia. However, now the international community is correcting the wrong view and understanding the reality of Ethiopia's government on the ground.
ያንን ያስተካከለ በአሁኑ ሰዓት ሻለ ወዳለ የኢትዮጵያን አካሄድ እየተረዳ የመጣበት ሁኔታ ነው ያለው ማለት ይቻላል.
The House of People's Representatives announced yesterday that a new government will be formed on October 4, 2021. Ababa Birhane has more.
Briefing the media about the preparation, House of People's Representatives Speaker Taggase Chafo said a new government will be established on the stated date in accordance with the Constitution. The government will be formed based on the result of the 6th general election announced by the National Electoral Board of Ethiopia. Prosperity Party won most of the seats in the House of People's Representatives. The Speaker said a full report about more than 400 seats of the 547 seats in the House is declared, adding that the House of People's Representatives will begin its work with this and the other could join the members later.
በመንግስታችን ላይ በግልጽ እንደተደነገገው የህዝብ ተወካዮች ምክር ቤት መስከረም መጨረሻ ሳምንት ሰኞ ስራውን እንደሚጀምር ተደንግጓል.
As it is clearly stated in the Constitution, the House of People's Representatives will start its work in the coming months, September 24, Ethiopian calendar. We have been fulfilling the necessary precondition for this. The House of People's Representatives will begin its work based on the election results announced by National Electoral Board of Ethiopia.
እንደሚታወቀው ከ400 በላይ መቀመጫዎች ላይ ሙሉ ሪፖርት የቀረበ ስለሆነ በዛ መሰረት የህዝብ ተወካዮች ምክር ቤት ስራውን የሚጀምር ይሆናል.
According to him, the outgoing House has been undertaking various activities to make the new House of People's Representatives more effective and efficient in its term.
ይህን ስናደርግ ያው ጥናትን ማዕከል ያደረገ ነው። የሌሎች ሀገሮችም ተሞክሮ በሙሉ የአፍሪካም የሌሎችም ዓለም ሀገራት ተሞክሮ በደንብ ታይቷል።
What we are doing is a research-based activity. The experiences of other African and European countries have been taken into consideration. Taking these experiences into consideration, we have tried to localize them into our country's context. We are hopeful that we will bring better results. Taggesen noted various studies and training that help to formulate laws rich in content and quality were conducted over the past 3 years.
አጠቃላይ በይዘትም በጥራትም በተደራሽነትም ያሉ ችግሮች ምንድናቸው ተብሎ ጥናት ተደርጓል። በዛ ጥናት መሰረት
research has been conducted to solve problems regarding quality, content and accessibility. Based on the research conducted, we have prepared comprehensive legal manual with which everything is guided. Training is also being given to enable legislative bodies understand the situation properly.
ህግ አመንጭ አካላት በተሟላ መልኩ እንዲገነዘቡ የሚያስችል ስልጠናም በአሁኑ ሰዓት እየተሰጠ ይገኛል።
The speaker stated that the House has also set up a system to improve the monitoring and controlling system by focusing on key sectors.
ውጤትን ማዕከል ያደረገ ቁልፍ የሆነ የውጤት አመላካች ማዕከል ያደረገ
Based on this, it is the responsibility of the House of People's Representatives to ensure that standing committees carry out a strict monitoring and oversight on the executive offices, and that the demands of the public to be answered in the same way. A control and monitoring manual has been developed for this.
ጠንካራ ክትትልና ቁጥጥር እንዲያደርግ ይጠበቃል። ለዚህም ይሆን የክትትልና ቁጥጥር ማኑዋል ተዘጋጅቷል።
He also said a full week-long meeting will be held every month to listen to the report of the executive bodies and carry out their legislative work. Taggese added that House members will have the opportunity to approach the people which elected them in order to ensure their representation.
The attempt of some Western countries to interfere in the internal affairs of Ethiopia is an act of breaching international laws and norms, a scholar told Ethiopian news agency. Fikradi Zaudu reports.
The United Nations Security Council discussed last week the current situation in Ethiopia. During the meeting, most of the member countries voted to support Ethiopia and its efforts to address its internal challenges, expressing their confidence that the country is capable of tackling the current challenges the nation is facing. They have also called on others to respect this and avoid pressures, including unilateral sanction, as this won't help to improve the situation. However, some members of the Western nations have demanded that the government of Ethiopia do things that are entirely against its sovereignty and national integrity. Speaking to Ethiopia news agency, Mizan Tepe University history and political science lecturer Nugusu Balai said the demands by some members of the United Nations Security Council breach international laws that stipulate the non-interference of nations in the internal affairs of other nations. According to him, no international law and norm allows countries to interfere in the domestic affairs of other countries without the invitation by the victim country, and there is no prohibition of military cooperation to jointly fight against common enemies like acts of terrorism and other security problems. Interfering in the domestic affairs of a sovereign state is strictly prohibited by the international laws and norms. The scholar noted, adding that some nations in the West, however, repeatedly try to tell Ethiopia how to act in its domestic affairs. On the other hand, Western nations have been turning deaf ears to the people and the government of Ethiopia in their claim that Sudanese soldiers have invaded and occupied Ethiopian territory. The repeated false allegations of the West in the internal affairs of Ethiopia do not emanate from sympathy to the Ethiopian people. Nugusu elaborated, it is rather an agenda to destabilize the Horn of Africa and make the countries in the region remain unstable and create weak and puppet governments. According to him, the Western powers do not want to lose control over the region, as the Horn of Africa is one of the most strategic regions in the world. The Western powers fear that strong regional integration and cooperation in the region would make them lose their control over the region. The scholar noted, adding that they want to create animosity between countries of the region by creating false agenda to disrupt the ongoing move towards regional integration, cooperation and prosperity in the region. Leaving aside their animosity, Nugusu pointed out the move to regional integration between Ethiopia, Eritrea and Somalia is creating shock to the US and Western powers.
You're watching Amhara Media Corporation, Amhara TV News, and now let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate and karat rate. That's all the news we have for today. I am Gaila Damu. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a great time.